Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday for those of you who are watching with us live. Okay, I know some of us are snowed in. Okay, there's a winter storm affecting most of the US. So I thought we'd just come on here Saturday, have a good time, chill with one another. Is there much going on? Okay. Is there much going on? It's like, let's just hang out. Let's chill. Okay. Come on into the chat. If you are new here, I'm Denise Brady. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. And we like to talk about some things, okay? Hey Don. Hey Don. Okay. Are you snowed in or are you just chilling for today? Okay, you just chilling. But yeah, I know some people wanted me to talk about the Michelle Obama call her daddy interview. So here I am. Here goes upon you. Okay. But yeah, I'm just chilling this Saturday. So I thought I'd just come hang out with you guys. So let me know where you're watching from. If you are watching the replay and you are not part of the live, let me know. But yeah, just let's hang out. Let's chat. Okay, come on into the chat. Hit the like, subscribe. How's your Saturday? Okay, are you trapped in the house? Are you want to be outside? Maybe you decide to, low key chill. Maybe the work week was hard enough, so you just like, I'm just gonna chill today. I'm just gonna chill. Now, okay, salutations, blessings. Okay, I'm greeting you as more people are getting notified that I'm live. Plan to be snowed in, but the sun is shining. Okay, and melting. Okay, where are you watching from? Oh, Denver. Okay, you're in Denver. So the snow is melting for you and it's coming down for me. Never thought, being a girl from Cali, I would ever say I'm snowed in. Okay, I thought I'd never say that, but here we are now, living in Texas, okay, and enjoying the snow. I was so excited this morning. We all got up a little bit earlier and went outside and experienced the freezing cold for a second, and then came back inside. Hey, Kenya, haven't seen you in quite a while. How's the weather in California? Is it cloudy or do y'all got some sunshine over there? Okay, I need to call my Inglewood peeps up today and chat with them tonight. But yeah, just thought we come on in, have a little bit of a chat. Now, I am not a fan of Call Her Daddy. I don't watch all of her interviews, but there are certain ones that I find interesting. And watching some of the clips, I was like, oh, okay. I'm not sure if it's because of the caliber of who Michelle is, or is it more um that Alex has, upped her, interviewing skills and some of the questions, or her producer is prepping her a little bit more. But watching some of the clips, I was like, oh, somebody's been doing some homework. Somebody is actually putting some effort. I'm not sure if it's Alex putting the effort in or her production team. But I must say kudos to you because some of these questions, you're doing a good job. You did a good job with this one. Okay, you did a good job. Okay, we got some members in the chat. Okay. Stormageddon. Yes, Stormageddon. Okay. Oh, it's the 60s. Okay, so y'all got some sun, but a little bit of clouds. Oh, LA, y'all enjoying the life right now. But come on in, hit that like button, everybody. Share the live, like it. But let's get into it. How many of y'all watched the Call Her Daddy interview, or have you seen just clips? There's different things she talks about, which I think a lot of women are facing. She gives advice to young women. Um, and I'm gonna call her Michelle. Okay, Miss Michelle, because oftentimes when they refer to her as Michelle Obama, and that's all that she is a wife. She's like, nah, girl, I got my own thing going on, I got my own organizations. I am my own person. Okay. I am my own person, though I am a rock. I am his best friend. I am that girl. I am more than just a wife. I am more than Michelle Obama. There is still Michelle. Okay, Michelle has a lot of accolades that y'all forget about. Okay, I've been doing my thug thizzle, and y'all have forgotten. Okay, and I think there are a lot of women who we were talking about this yesterday. Also, losing your identity in a relationship, and in this place, I thought it was maybe forced upon. Like you have to be the wife, you have to keep up this image, and not that she has forgotten herself, but the world would like her to only be known as Michelle Obama and not Michelle. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's watch some clips. Welcome to the live. Thank you guys all for coming in. Okay, hello, 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 hello. Okay. Haven't watched it. This will all be new to me. A lot of the clips I have, some of them I have watched, but some of them will be new. Like last night when we were doing our live, we went over tonight's conversation. I have not watched those tonight's conversation clips. So last night they got my live reaction. I love a Michelle for the first lady. I wonder though, if she want to be known as forever Miss First Lady. I don't really know. I don't really get that from these interviews. So let's get into his first clip.
Just disappeared in the course of this whole election, and you now see me as just Barack Obama's wife. So that made me say, what, that quickly my shoes become the most important thing about me, right? And again, not unique to me. It can happen to the best of us. So I shied away from fashion leading the conversation, but I knew I didn't completely control it. So let's lean in.
I think that, looking back at the presidency, there was a lot of pressure on her to, I think, be this person, meet the needs of the world, I feel like, and also meet the needs of a husband. But looking back, y'all, how many of y'all remember the times where they were scrutinized, her, the way she dressed?
I went to Princeton and Harvard. I mean, I practiced law. I was an assistant to the mayor in Chicago. I ran a nonprofit. I was a vice president for community relations at the University of Chicago hospitals. I was a dean of students. I was like, oh, you guys, all of that just disappeared in the course of this whole election. And you now see me as just Barack Obama's wife.
Just the wife. Okay. Though she is the most accomplished first lady, I would say probably in history, I feel like that has come with so much pressure. And is it fair that she has had to live under that much pressure, even post? I remember, was it last year, y'all, or the year before, where they were speculating that they were getting a divorce because she made choices to not show up in public spaces with her husband? And there was like a long, I think, just like, you know, conversations and just robust people just making up their own things. And so even though she's not part of the presidency, I feel like she's still under a lot of scrutiny. Okay. And why is it that when women have their own stuff, their careers, their accomplishments, that gets washed away for your significant other? Okay. For your husband, whether you marry somebody in the NFL, marry someone who's of a high caliber, or who's in the public eye, it seems like it's very hard for women to have their own or to be seen as an individual. I don't know if Michelle will ever be seen as an individual, and I don't feel like that is fair, that she's always going to be attached to the Obama name, which, a lot of people would. But why can't she just be Michelle? Okay. Michelle, all the things that she has done. Why does it always have to be the pressure of forever first lady? And I think that comes with just so much scrutiny, so much criticism. And I wonder about the self-criticism that she probably dealt with in those years of living in the White House and raising daughters. And we'll get into those conversations also. But it seemed like we want to hang on to something that I wonder if at times she wants to let go of, that she wants to be free from. Let me know in the chat. Let's go over some of these comments. Okay. Facts, yes, most accomplished. Hey, Gia. Michelle was so much more experienced and accomplished than Barack. She literally was his senior at the law firm. Yes, 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 yes. Speculation on her marriage because she has her own life. I don't know if the world wants to allow her to have her own life. If she's not in the public eye, if she's not at the funerals, if she's not at the public engagements, then there must be something wrong in their relationship because she's choosing herself. And she's setting a boundary. Okay. I don't have to. I don't have to show up. Okay. I don't have to. Yeah, that was when she didn't show up for what was it, a funeral? Or was it the inauguration? Oh, he must be getting divorced, trouble in paradise. I remember Lauren LaRosa was one of the people who reported on that. It must be trouble in paradise. Okay. Yes, we are always seen as an addendum to our partners. And if you don't show up with your partner, there must be something wrong. You can't have your own identity. And I wonder about the Michelle post presidency, the Michelle, who's in her 60s. I believe she talked about thriving now in her 60s. It just feels like I own myself. Okay, I'm walking the path I want to, no matter what the world says. I'm going to do Michelle. Okay. And to have a supportive partner like Barack who's like, yeah, girl, do your thing. Do your thing. Okay. I also was thinking about talking about the conversation. I haven't watched her podcast, but I did see the clip with Regina King talking about her son. So I thought we'll talk about that too. So we might throw that up in here also. Okay. All right. Hey, Beth. Hey, everybody. This is because she listed her accolades. I literally forgot she accomplished all that. That's a lot of people. It's like we learned this in the beginning, but then she got overshadowed by Barack and everyone. Yeah, that's what she's saying. That's exactly what she's saying. And now, who do we blame for that? Society? Societal roles? Expectations? Was it her job to put her stuff aside for the success of her husband? Okay. Was it this podcast where she spoke about the Bush family offering the Obamas their ranch to find respite? I'm not sure. I feel like I remember that being like a headline somewhere. I don't know if you talk about that here though. Hey, Felicia. I need to make you a mod also, Felicia. So go on my channel and go leave a comment so I can make you a mod. That's the only way I know how to do it. I can't do it in the chat, but you need to become a mod also. I love that she wears her hair in braids and can show up as her most authentic self. Let's talk about that for a second. Okay, good point here. I feel like in the last 3 years, I have seen more and more Black women who have a public image, news anchors, TV hosts wearing braids. I think that for the longest time, I never saw growing up a Black woman on the news. Now I watch I was when I was in LA, CBS. I can't remember her name, but on KCAL, there's a Black woman. She always is wearing her braids. And I was like, the first time I saw her on TV, I was like, wow, she got knotless braids on TV. And she an anchor. Because we often have to wear wigs, weaves, lose our edges. And what do we gain? So yeah, watching her be able to not have to have that pressing curl, that hot comb, and embrace, I want to wear braids. But I wonder if people have picked up on, watching TV, I've seen more Black women wear braids. It was all about the wigs, the weaves, covering up your edges. And Michelle Obama is another person who's like, braids don't make me less than. Okay, they don't make me hood adjacent. I'm not ghetto. But have y'all noticed that there's been more and more Black women who are in the public eye on TV wearing braids? Okay, wearing braids. Yeah, always a sewing or a weave. Now I gotta look up that girl name because I want to put some respect on her. Hey everybody. I'm in the military. I see a lot of Black women wearing their natural hair and rocking it well. There's a lot of pushback from upper leadership. but it's our own superpower. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Now let me dang, I wish somebody in LA let me know maybe somebody let me know what's the girl name on K-Cow. That always be wearing the braids. Let me see if I can find it because I love me some her. Okay. I love me some her. She just got on there probably like a year ago, maybe. She from New Orleans. Okay. I need a picture of her with her braids though. Okay, somebody let me know in the chat and we can look her up. But yeah, I feel like it has become our superpower. Even I think I remember Sabrina saying that she almost didn't get on Love Island because she wanted to wear braids. Has anyone else heard that conversation? Okay. Yeah, Kenya, what is her name? I follow her on IG. I think Pat has actually been mentoring her. Let me go and see if I can find her real quick so I can look up her name. Oh, is it Sharib? Sheba Turk. Thank you, Kenya. I looked it up right at the same time. Yes, Miss Girl in her braids. The first time I saw her, I got so excited, y'all, because I was like, wow, a black woman anchoring the news, prime time, wearing her braids. Okay, here we go. Let me yes, girl. When I saw her for the first time in her braids, the little girl in me was like, "Oh yes, where were you when I was a kid?" But she be having braids. She be wearing her natural hair all the time. Okay, just all the time. She got the bohos. Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. Sorry, I just had to fangirl for a little second because I just love me some her. But this is an LA thing. If you're not in LA, you're not gonna be familiar with her. Okay. Now the thing about Miss Sheba, I think she's way bigger than the network. It's only a matter of time before she owned the Today Show or something else. I don't see her being on KCAL for long because she's much bigger than a local news show. Okay, a lot of y'all know her. Yes. Yes. But it is a common theme on Love Island. And you know, the girls be wearing the wigs, they be slipping, it be hot, it be humid. Okay. But yeah, she said that she almost didn't get on because of her hair. They were trying to convince her to put on a wig or a weave. Now imagine if Serena was not on that season. Okay. You don't see it often. All right. They criticized Michelle for wearing a dress with no sleeves. Yes. Imagine what would have happened if Michelle had braids in the White House. You right. Imagine. Because it wasn't until, was it her book tour that she started wearing braids? And she had that long braided ponytail, I think. I think it was during one of the book tours that she started wearing the braids. Yes, that's my girl. I miss watching her on TV, y'all. That's my girl right there. That's my girl. Yeah, she's always in New Orleans. Always. Always, girl. You just, yeah. I just love me some her. I've never seen her in a wig. Never seen her in a wig or a weave. Yeah, it's always just her and her natural hair. Okay. Yeah, that's my little LA girl. I love her. I feel like in the news as a woman, you have to have straight hair to be thin and be thin. I've been seeing maybe more in like the South and Midwest. I feel like that. I wonder if that's more of an LA thing because I don't see that as much. I see a lot more news anchors who are curvy, and not so much on the thinner side. So I wonder, now that I'm not in LA, if that's more of a California thing and maybe different parts. Okay, maybe like New York, Florida, but more in the South. When I see news stuff, it's not so much of that. Okay. I believe we are the culture and we set the trends, yes, and we activate our authentic self. We are unstoppable, yes. That's the thing about her is that she's also very authentic. Okay. I don't want local news anymore. I will look out for her in LA. Yeah, she's on KCAL 9. She's been there, what, 2 years, y'all? I think 2 years or a year and a half. But yeah, it was so beautiful to watch every morning, to watch her do her thing. Okay. So yeah, y'all think it's definitely to me a LA and New York thing. I don't know too much about Florida news, but I could also see Florida because a lot of plastic surgery in Florida that I could see that it being more of a on the thin side also. Um, but yeah, I feel like Michelle went through so much scrutiny. Okay. And let's pull up this clip.
You said that not going to Trump's inauguration was an act of getting even more comfortable saying no, regardless of what people think. Has getting comfortable with saying no changed your perspective about your very famous line, when they go low, we go high? And do you think that the message still applies given the enormity of what women are up against today?
What going high mean?
Yeah, let's talk about this. I think for the first time publicly, that was Michelle setting a boundary. And I think a lot of people who hopefully you guys go back and you watch it or at least watch the clips, can learn it's okay for me to say no. My presence is a yes, and sometimes not being there is a no. And I think there are a lot of people who deal with people pleasing and who struggle to say no. And sometimes it doesn't have to be words. Sometimes it could be my presence. So I want people to get comfortable with, sometimes no is me not showing up. And I wonder for the longest time during the presidency, if Michelle was forced to people please, probably show up in spaces she didn't want to show up because it was part of the role, the supportive wife. Okay, making sure we kept things kosher because the world was always scrutinizing them. All right. Beth said, when they go low, we go to hell. Yes, choose yourself. It is okay to choose you.
To me is getting to the solution. And going high means that we are working strategically towards that goal with a plan and some objectives, and it's not purely emotional. It doesn't mean that emotions don't exist, because they do. I do feel anger. I do feel pain and hurt. But if my anger is leading and it doesn't work, then what are we doing? Now I'm just indulging myself. Now I'm just having a tantrum. And when you're a leader, in my mind, you should have a point other than self-indulgence.
Good point. Okay. How many of y'all work for people who are leaders, but lead with their ego? Lead with self-indulgence. Okay. And another thing that came up for me as I'm watching this clip, it kind of reminded me once again of Mel Robbins. And you're like, how does this remind you of Mel Robbins? Because I feel like for a long time, I feel like Black women say things and it goes unheard, such as this when they go low, we go high, and the rhetoric behind it. But somebody as basic as a Brene Brown, as a Mel Robbins, can say the same thing and get deals and write books and have podcasts. But a Black woman says it, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, we just gonna say when they go low, we go high. That's a tagline. Not really thinking about the details of the depth of it versus a let them. Oh, tell me more about the let them theory. Y'all don't want to hear about the when they go low, we go high theory. Oh no, we want to hear about the let them theory because this white woman said it. Okay. I think there could be a whole discourse, a whole class book on what she's saying right now about when they go low, we go high. But it's the oh yeah. Anyway, Mel Robbins, tell us more about the leptin theory. Protein powder. Oh, I want to buy that. Oh, the leptin theory, it saved my life. Okay? It saved my life. Let's call up Mel Robbins for advice, give people advice on how to survive the holidays with families. Am I wrong though? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Yeah, I worked for so many people who were leaders but led with their egos or were terrible leaders, but because they had been at the company long enough, because of somebody they knew, they were in leadership roles. And I'm like, how the hell did you get here? Okay, how the hell you get here? Gia, you feel like Mel Robbins stole the concept? Probably. It's a very basic concept. Okay, it's very basic. Right. Tell me more about the let them theory when we been said that. Yes. Oh, here's millions of dollars. Write another book, Let Them Theory 2.0, right? Even though I feel like women of color, indigenous people have been saying similar things. It's when someone who's, not of color says it, that's like, oh yeah, let's throw some money at you. Let's write some articles about you. When I feel like there's been women for so long that have been saying like the same thing, but our voices, are ignored. And I don't think it's right. But I wonder, will change ever come, y'all? Okay. Will change ever come? Let me know in the chat. Acting like they discovered gold. Yes. Okay. Acting like they discovered gold. I see you, Gia. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
So yeah, I think we should always be trying to go high. And I think as anybody with a platform, a powerful platform, it's a responsibility. That platform is powerful. Like the words you say move people.
Mm-hmm.
And you can move them to productivity, or you can move them to division. You can move them to hate. It's like a gun. Learn how to use it. Put the safety lock on, because you can cause a lot of damage. And that's what going high means. And yes, I still think that. But have the feelings. I'm not telling people that you're like just like us as women. Yes, it's not fair. It sucks. The standards are double. We're killing ourselves. We're inundated with messages that are wrong. Feel that. Don't feel like you're crazy for feeling it. Wrong?
Yes, feel the shits, y'all. Feel it. Okay. Somebody said, what's her name? Melania Knever. She's brilliant, and God, I miss her. Michelle, we miss you. She's such a great speaker. Heavy on the using your platform responsibly. People don't do that these days because they're so caught up in the likes. They're so caught up in the money. Okay. So caught up in all the BS that responsibility, I'm here for the coin. Okay. I'm here for the money. You see, and I keep saying, y'all should let me know in the chat. Maybe tonight on the members only chat, we might do an E-Cane talk about E. Kane tonight. But I see so many people such as E. Kane, some of these relationship people, toxic relationship people, not using their platform publicly. Responsibly. So many times we watch people online get beat up, beat their partner up. The image that they're showing because it's making them money. Going back to the thoughts about bringing back shame, I don't know if people care to use their platform responsibly. I don't know if social media and responsibility are synonymous anymore. Okay. I don't know if those things can happen for certain people together because they're so caught up in being better than other people. They're so caught up in making money that shame and responsibility on a platform. Now, why would I do that? That stuff does not sell products. That's not going to get you to buy TikTok shop from me. That's not going to get you to double tap the screen. Okay, so I get a bunch of likes. Those things don't, you know what? Chaos does. Okay? And I have seen over and over how chaos is what sells, what entertains, what gets followers and likes. Okay. Now, if I was to do a live about something toxic and chaotic, we probably have a couple hundred people up in here. All right. But to talk about something that's more about positivity, deep thinking, I feel like we're in a time frame of when people don't want to think. They don't want to think. They don't want to have, supportive and diverse discourse about different conversations. And some people might feel like intelligence is a dying breed online. The more toxic you are, that's what entertains. Those are the relationships, the videos that get more attention. And that's just what I'm seeing. Maybe it's just me, though. Okay, maybe that's just me. People care more about clout than actually helping people. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. Make too much money without shame and responsibility. Yeah, I'm sure before all the terms and conditions change online, a person like E. Kane was making money. Okay, her videos of her being beat up. And now it's a bunch of stuff going around about her baby daddy raped her on Christmas. And those are the type of videos that have 100,000 likes. Of a woman's baby daddy talking about how he raped her and he would do it again. And how he's not sorry because he was drunk. Okay. But say I make a video about how to have a healthy relationship. The algorithm's like, no, suppress that. Suppress it. Yes, it's so true. It's so true. Okay. It is so true. Very true.
Is wrong, and going high doesn't mean to ignore that. And we need to feel those feelings to act. How we act on those feelings is the going high part.
You said that, not going.
I wish that, I know she probably is in a place where she doesn't really want to do much anymore. But there was more conversation about the theory behind, when they go low, we go high. I just feel like there could just be more diverse conversation about that from her. But I feel like she's done her just dues where I feel like she doesn't have to do anything anymore. And I think to me, it feels like she's made an active choice to not do as much. Okay. Let me see, what were some other clips that
me being a good mother in this, me and Barack being good parents in this, like it didn't mean that we weren't going to work hard. But if you want to know what my priority was, like a lot of parents is making sure that my kids weren't destroyed by this thing we're doing, that they ended up whole. Me being a good mother in this.
And I feel like that's what's missing. Let's talk about parenting, relationships. I don't know if we live in a world where people are prioritizing my children's needs, their emotional well-being, their emotional health. I met this dude online. He seemed cool. He lived in another state. So you know what, kids? We're moving. Y'all don't want to move? Oh, well. He got money. He talking to me nice. So y'all friends, oh well, to y'all friends, y'all activities. We going to Chicago. And I don't care what y'all think, because mama gotta be happy, right? I also remember it was probably at this point 2 years ago, the influencer who quit her job and moved her kids, I think, to Houston, only to end up in a shelter. Okay, to end up in a shelter. Does anybody remember that story? She had no plan. She just saw everybody was making money on TikTok and they make it look so easy. I'm like, oh, she's probably like, oh, I could do that too. Okay, I could do that too. Yeah, chaos is more entertaining. Yeah. hmm Ooh, that's why the youth will continue to stay lost. It's very tiring. Ooh. Yeah, we I don't know. I might do we might talk about that tonight because we still gonna do a members only live tonight. So I might talk about that. We truly have lost our sense of morale, integrity, self-worth. My father always told me it's easier to do the wrong thing, it's harder to do the right thing. Choose hard every day. I don't think people want the hard, they just want the easy. Okay, they just want the easy. Beth said, F them kids. And I feel like even though they're out of the White House and they've moved past being there, Sasha and I think Malia goes by, what's Malia's name that she goes by now? Because I think she doesn't go by Malia anymore, right? Or is it Sasha that changed her name? I think it was Malia. They have not had any issues publicly. They still been able to live private lives, do their own thing. It shows when a parent really is invested in you as a person, not invested in you because you're a child and I had you, but it's about being invested in you as an individual, your wellness, your well-being. And even though we're doing this thing in front of the world, I want to make sure y'all are good. Okay, I want to make sure y'all are good. And I'm sure with the help of her mother, who I know passed away, just having that, support from two strong Black women growing up, okay, was very impactful. So I haven't heard anything really about either one of them. I think Sasha is the younger one. She's the one who has a more, I think, quieter private life, even though they both do. I know Malia was going into film stuff. She added like a Nike commercial. Was it last year that went viral? But yeah, she changed her name. I think was it to Anne? Something, because just like her mother, she didn't want to. She wants to be known as an individual, not as an Obama. So I think she's in the whole entertainment industry, and she does like a lot of film work, but she has maybe like a surname, just so she can have her own path, her own career, without people just looking at her as an Obama. I can't remember what was it Anne or something that she had changed her name to? I can't remember. Okay. I worry about my grandbabies all the time because them tablets are their lives until they come to my house. We play games and touch grass. I'm hoping that's enough. Yeah, I think there's a balance because my kids are on tablets. I think there's a balance. I have limits. Once the time limit is up, you got your time, and then the time, I'm not adding no more. Okay. And I really do pride myself on experiencing different things with my kids, foods, cultures, getting out the house, because living in LA, the culture is so different there, family wise, compared to living in Texas. I feel like Texas is more family orientated. And I feel like in LA, it wasn't as much. And the kids in LA really do sit in the game all day. Don't really go out much. Not speaking for everybody. I'm not saying everybody, but just the experiences that I have personally had. I don't see a lot of, let's get the kids out and like have them experience the world, travel. Not even just traveling, just go out on the weekends, go to a museum or something. Experience different cultures. I don't see that there. And I think a lot of people are stuck on their phones. Parents are on their phones. I also think parents are burned out and tired, depressed because how the world is and different things that also is something that no one is talking about. Like not having the energy, not having the community. You know, there's not a lot of family members who are really connected like that anymore, who are like, yeah, I'll take your son and take him to a basketball game. I'll take him for the weekend so you can rest, so you can do some things around the house. I feel like the community, the village that was there at one point, there's no village anymore. So you have a lot of parents just trying to survive, being in survival mode, really trying to raise their kids. Just really trying to raise their kids. And it's really hard. What was the other clip? I know she has some advice for girls.
How did you nurture all of those identities and stay whole? Because this is so relevant to my audience right now. They're struggling to be multiple things at once and feel confident about it.
What I've come to learn is that can you have it all? Yes, not at the same time. And I think that we beat ourselves up because here's what there are a lot of women who are listening, a lot of women, period, who I would call 120 percenters. That means that just showing up means we're not just showing up. We're excelling because we've always had to do that. To get a seat at the table, we have to be smarter and brighter. And we kind of do, because if you slip up, you don't necessarily get a second chance or the benefit of the doubt. Or so we've been trained to do that. So now we're operating like that and trying to do it with everything that we're doing. And 120% plus 120% plus 120% adds up to crazy.
And a mental breakdown.
Exactly.
How many of y'all are moving at 120%? How many of y'all? Okay. We're going to talk about that. I do feel like I agree though. I think you can have it all, but it does come into different, seasons or chapters of your life. There are times where I'm like, wow, my business is going well. My kids are doing well. But then something else happens in my personal life regarding outside family. Okay. Or maybe things are not in the best place with my business, but then my relationship is thriving and my kids are thriving. I do think you can have it all. I just wonder about, like she said, that's a good conversation about having it all at the same time. Okay. Do people believe that you can have it all at the same time? Or do you guys not believe at all that you can have it all? I do think that that's also very subjective. What does it mean to have it all? Okay, let me know in the chat. What do you guys think about what she's saying when it comes to having it all? Okay, having it all. Do people believe that you can have it all? Okay. I think you can, but I think, you're going to go through different seasons when everything is going well, but then you will go through other seasons of your life where you might feel like an imposter, like I have all these things, but it feels uncomfortable. It feels weird, especially as you're going on your healing journey and discovering different parts of yourself. I think that you might question, like, damn, I'm finally here, but I still feel like something's missing. Or you get to a point where you're feeling like you're thriving, but it's uncomfortable because you've never been this place before. Okay. But yeah, I think it comes in waves, different waves and different seasons. And I think that having it all is subjective. Someone might look at my life and say that I have it all, but I might be the person living in my life feeling like they're still like, I don't, that there's so much more I still want to achieve, that something's still missing. So I think it's very subjective about having it all, but I think it's to everyone's own individual thought process of what that looks like, what it feels like. And have you guys, gone to a place in your life where you do have it all, or do you feel like it's not ever going to happen? That is something people talk about, but it's not something that's a reality. Okay. That was me, full-time job, full-time student, full-time mom. Yes. And then I got sick and was in the hospital, and it took me 2 years, wow, to get back to normal. I now listen to my body and slow down. Yeah, being in overdrive. That 120% that she's talking about is really the world, the conditioning that we have to be productive. We always have to be doing go, 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 along with, I think, being in survival mode and not having people in our lives who were thriving growing up, having that image that we don't always have to be just on go. That rest does not have to be a luxury. I think a lot of times we don't see rest as something that's needed. We see it as a luxury. Because right now I got to pay these bills. The rent due. I'm not trying to have them come pick up my car. My kid need new shoes. My kid want to play a sport. Now I got to pay that initiation fee. I got to pay the dues. I got to get the outfits, the headgear. So it's like, I'll rest when. That's what I hear a lot too. I'll rest when things slow down, when I pay these bills. When? There's never I'm going to rest today. I'll rest once this happens, once I take care of this. And then you might end up in the hospital or with some chronic, illness that you can't get rid of because you were just going, going, going. So I want people to think about, not seeing rest as just a luxury.
So one of the things I had to learn is that, like, a lot of times my 50% is good enough, but I have to first be okay with it, right? So when it came to raising my kids and keeping my job, when I felt the push of, I don't know if I'm like, am I there for my kids like I want to? Like, I had to stop breastfeeding and I had to do this and I had to go back. But I like having a salary and being able to pay down our student debt and walk away from that. What I realized was like, okay, I can't be driving hard at my job at this time. My husband is in politics. He has 3 jobs. Somebody's got to take it down a notch. So I've learned to stay in the car, keep your foot on the gas, but just don't floor it all the time.
And that's something I truly believe, and I think it's such a controversial take when it comes to being in a marriage or in a relationship with somebody and having kids. Based off of my own experience and being married at this point, I've been with my husband maybe 16 years this year, and raising kids, I do wholeheartedly feel like, and nobody wants to hear this, but at some point, one person does have to take their foot off the gas. If you want your kids to grow up well, mentally healthy, emotionally intelligent, I think it's very hard to have both people in their careers how they're filling the gas and have healthy kids, especially if you ain't got the village. Now, if you got the village, then maybe that's a little bit different. But I feel like most people don't have the village. And so I personally don't have the village. So I do feel like in order for you to have mentally, not mentally, that's not the word I'm thinking, like healthy kids who are thriving in school, who have social relationships, who seem emotionally intelligent, I do feel like one person has to take their foot off the gas. Now, I'm not saying you have to quit your career but maybe you're going at a slower pace because your partner, y'all have a conversation like, okay, like we got 3 kids under 5. Okay. We both laid up in that bed and made some decisions. Now we both, before we had kids, had thriving careers. We still do. Okay. But which one of us is going to be the one that climbs a corporate ladder? And which one of us is going to be the one who's maybe more of a caregiver? Now you still work your 9 to 5, but maybe one of us is like, okay, I'm going to take it up a notch. And you're going to kind of be more of the one that's caretaking for the kids. And those are the harder conversations that nobody's talking about that really need to happen before you marry somebody. I think before you have kids with somebody, because you don't want to get to a point where you have the multiple kids. And now you're trying to figure out in the midst of it, damn, I want this promotion. Shit, she want a promotion too. She was a lawyer before I met her. I was in med school. Okay, we need to move so that I can find a residency. But damn, she want to do her law thing too. So which one of us is going to make the sacrifice? Am I going to find residency local? Even though I really always dreamed about Johns Hopkins. I always dreamed about a hospital in New York. Damn. Is it worth it for my family to stay here in California and have my wife thrive in her law business, open up her own firm, and maybe I just settle with the USC county hospital? Still making decent money. In order for us, in order for us to have the lives that we always thought we would have. Okay. Now, those are the conversations I don't hear on podcasts. The real life stuff, because half them people who be on the podcast are not in healthy relationships. Clock it. Okay. They're not married. And they're not emotionally intelligent enough to have these conversations with open eyes and ears. They have these conversations with open mouths. But yeah, these are the tougher things in a relationship that you have to think about. Okay, when you meet a partner, and these are the conversations you need to have before really committing to somebody. Because these are lifestyle things, these are dreams, and maybe some of the dreams you can't compromise. Okay, you can't compromise. All right, but let me get off my soapbox.
All things. That doesn't mean you have to break. That doesn't mean you have to pull the car over and get out. It just means that there will be aspects of parts of those yourself that you can't go 120%. And then that means that we as women have to accept a little bit less from ourselves than we're used to. And that takes, you have to just get used to that. And it's all in here, right? It's all the internal message. Like, if you have a job, maybe you aren't going to be able to make homemade baby food. And guess what? Like, I love the jar phase. Like, there was nothing better than that dinner. I was like, whoa. When they started eating real food, I was like, oh, curses. I gotta cook. But that stage of, sweet potatoes. I loved it. And I'd just go to the grocery store. I'd be like, look at mom. Figure you're going to have a little beef here, a little carrot in a jar. I
love it. I love it.
I remember that phase. I think for my first kid, I feel like for the first maybe 6 or 7 months, I did make his food. I went through that phase of making the food and making sure, he had like the not processed jar food, not the pouches. And then you get to a point where you got to go back to work. You got to go back to work. And like she said, you start buying the jar food, and you start buying them little pouches. But once again, we try and be in 120% mode. because the world also puts pressure on us. It's like, oh, you're feeding your kid processed food. You're not breastfeeding. What kind of mom are you if you're giving your kid that formula in a bottle? I think those are the conversations no one talks about either, is the guilt of that, the shame of not being able to do all the organic things and all the that stuff. So those are conversations also. I wonder if anybody can relate to any of these conversations that we're having right now. Let me know in the chat.
So real though. So you have to be kind of okay with that's not going to kill them, or maybe you can't breastfeed for a year because you can't.
Mhm.
You don't like it. Your body isn't able to. You had to go back to work. Baby's going to be fine.
Mhm.
I mean, our parents didn't even breastfeed. I mean, there was a generation of women that were told, Celiac, here you go. I am a formula baby. 5'11", brains working just fine. Right? Just a little. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. So, we have to take some pressure off of ourselves. It's like, why are you trying to bounce back? What's the bounce back? You're gonna have a baby, your whole body's twisted up, and then you wanna like be back at the gym doing solid core why are we doing this to ourselves?
Society says that we need to do it. Okay, society is putting pressure on us to bounce back. Take the shots. Be in there working on your core in the gym. Okay, be in there working on your core. I couldn't breastfeed at all, and the lactation nurse made me feel so bad. Let me tell you about my story, because I can relate to that story. My first child was jaundice. Okay, he had jaundice, so I went home and I gave him formula to help him thrive, be healthy, and help him heal from the jaundice. And I think it was like at probably 4 weeks. I think I tried to start breastfeeding, and it wasn't working. Okay. I'm like, where the milk at? What's wrong with me? Why is it not working? Why is my child not latching? Why is the milk not coming out? So yes, I called the lactation nurse. And you know what she said? She like, girl, 4 weeks. Why didn't you call a long time ago? I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to call a long time ago. This is my first baby. I don't know what I'm doing, okay? But yeah, I had a similar experience. I remember, trying to put on the girdle thing, put on the girdle so my stomach would go flat real quick after only 3 weeks, ordering it off Amazon. And then, I tell my clients this all the time. People put so much pressure on themselves to breastfeed, but when your kid is on the playground in kindergarten and they're trying to make friends, that friend that they're trying to make is not going to ask them, did your mom breastfeed you? I need to know that before we share snacks. Before you give me that fruit roll up. Okay. They're not going to ask that. The only people who are going to know that you didn't breastfeed that child is you and maybe the person you had a kid with. Okay. But we put so much pressure on ourselves when the kid, they're going to go about their business. They're going to make friends whether you breastfeed them or not. But we put the shame on ourselves because the world, the nurses say, as soon as you pop that baby, I'll put them on the titty. Okay, we didn't cut the cord. Okay, now let's see what it do. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as the baby is healthy, as long as it's eating something. Okay, well, you gotta know what I mean, not just something, not French fries and all that stuff at a baby, but you know what I mean, though. Some of y'all can relate. It didn't work for y'all either. It didn't work. My lactation made me feel so bad as well. I had twins in the NICU and 2 at home. Wow, that does sound very stressful. That does sound stressful. Yeah, I remember just like the pressure of you're gonna breastfeed, right? Let's put them on the boob right now. Okay. Even when I, was doing formula, there was still so much pressure, not even from people around me, because I feel like people around me didn't breastfeed. It was more on the outside when I went to the doctor's appointments. Those were the people who are like, you're breastfeeding, right? Okay, and then I didn't breastfeed for the first one. And then I did breastfeed for about 7 months for the second one, because what they tell you, if you breastfeed, they'll be healthier, they won't get sick as much, and the second one is always sick. I'm like, "I did all that and you were always sick," whereas the first one never gets sick. Not to mention, I didn't know that, when you breastfeed a child, like, you're supposed to wipe off the gums because there's so much sugar in breast milk. I didn't know that. So when his teeth started to come in, they were rotten because I didn't know you're supposed to wipe off the gums. And then we went through so many different things with the dentist, surgeries, and um, all of that because I made the choice to breastfeed. Okay. So it's like, okay, I did all this and he always sick. He had to get multiple surgeries for his mouth, and now he has a extreme anxiety when it comes to the dentist because he's been through so much. Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as they're healthy. Okay. Kia said she had no issues with breastfeeding, but it was hell once I stopped. I was mad. I was like, why didn't anyone tell me it was going to hurt like this? Yeah, your breast swelling up and became very hard. No one told me that either. Okay. No one told me that either. I remember trying to look up different ways to help me with the pain. Because I didn't know that about that either. They weighed my son, he had lost weight in 2 was so the doc gave formula maybe, yeah. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with formula. I don't know why there's just so much pressure to breastfeed. The pediatrician. Oh yeah, pacifiers. I don't know how many pacifiers my kids lost. But it's like once they get them, you kind of have to keep giving it to them because they're so used to it. And then when it's time to take them off, it's like, okay, how are we gonna get this pacifier out your mouth now? So yeah, a lot of y'all didn't really know about I don't want to say negatives, but all there is to breastfeeding a child. It's like we mostly just were told to just do it. Not so much about, well, it's a lot of sugar in breast milk, wipe the gums, your breast can swell up and become hard, or that you lose density and your shit start drooping. So many different things we were not told.
And I think the comparison for women, when especially mothers, I've seen again because social media, it just is nonstop. We don't know what everyone's going through.
So
when
lying.
Yes,
They're lying.
And so when you're saying you're popping the jar open and you put it on the plate, you're taking a picture of the plate. You're like,
That's
look
what I did. And it's just like, let's not do that to each other. Let's
Yeah.
be more honest about the struggle.
Yeah.
I try to do that, and I'm constantly telling young mothers, like, it's coming. Right? You don't have to get off your career track, and I don't even recommend it because kids grow up fast.
Yeah.
And then they're gone. Like you sacrifice everything. And when they leave, they leave. They close the door and act like you never sacrificed. They're like, I remember you. I don't need you anymore. Right?
That's also something like people pouring so much into their kids that they don't have an identity. Once the kid decides, oh, okay, I'm a teenager, I have my own life. Can you give me a ride? Can you give me some money? Spend time with you. Oh, you got some money? And so it's not even just society. I think social media also gives you this image. And I'm not the biggest fan of these pregnancy announcements. I'm not the biggest fan of the People magazine photo spread of the new babies. And, I think even AD, she posted a photo like 4 days after she had her baby and her stomach was all flat. There's just so much pressure on women to bounce back and keep going and keep giving the 120%. Okay. All the time. All right. If you're not, in the hospital with makeup on and you have these nice photos, If it's a month later and you still got a little bit of pudge, what's wrong with you? Okay. What do you mean you don't get up and get dressed in the morning and take your baby out somewhere? If you don't have the fanciest, $700 car seat, the most expensive stroller, what's wrong with you? You're poor. You can't be friends with our mom group. Okay. Yikes. I'm glad my kid didn't accept the pacifier because it would have been hell. But to be fair, the pacifier was way too big anyway. I just remember finding pacifiers under the seat in the car. Uh, okay, we you don't get blocked. Sorry, you're being blocked. It's not a scam, Beth. It's not a scam. I just think that people are not honest. I think there's highs, there's lows. There's just a lot of silent moments that no one talks about, no one shares because so many people are like embarrassed to say like how they're really feeling, what they're really going through. And you can't give a new mom advice because most of the time, they don't want the advice because they have already this idealized image of how the baby's going to come out, like, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to look like, what activities I'm going to have my child involved in. They have this whole image and forget that the baby is a person, that the baby has their own brain that they're going to develop into and figure out what they like, what they want. It's just like so many parents are like, well, this is what we going to do. This is how we going to parent. It's like the baby is supposed to come out and fit into their world. Okay. The baby just going to come out and fit right into our world. We just going to keep going. It don't work like that, y'all. Okay. Yeah, I think I want people to see that kids should have their own minds. They should have their own minds and be a little bit more realistic. Hey, Nikki, how you doing? Anybody here for the first time? I forgot we haven't been celebrating people who are here for the first time. Anybody here for the first time? New subscribers? If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we're trying to get to 20,000. I've been trying to get to 20,000. I remember giving advice to a father and daughter about the car seat. The girl was about 3 or 4 in a damn booster seat. Or no seat at all. Wow. That does not seem safe. Says he knows what to do. Yeah, some people don't want advice. Some people do not want advice. They rather do it wrong. True, and holding in motherhood is hard and have other mothers, have you looking crazy. Yeah. I think a lot of people think they know it all and they don't want the advice.
So what I'm like, you better have saved something for yourself so that when that period comes and they're ready to move on and you're also not holding on longer because now what am I going to do? I devoted everything to you. And I need to, now I've got to fill my time. So I encourage people to hang in there and keep something for yourself throughout this process, but that means you're not going to be VP in 5 years. Like if you have in your mind that there's a track and there's only one way to do it, that's what trips us up a lot of times. Like I'm going to be partner by the time I'm 28. Hey, look, if you live until you're 80, 90, there's so much time.
Yeah.
There's so much. And I tell people, look, I had to get off the track and take pay cuts and come back, sacrifice because my husband was president, and then, that was kind of a, but in the midst of that, I still managed to be a lawyer, run a nonprofit. I can run down the list, be an author. I raised really same kids who, you know, aren't perfect, but they're really, really good. So they're
Yeah, I think people have to become more realistic, but I think people are so rigid. Okay. I have to do all these things by 30 because the world says I have to, and because I have ingrained in myself that if I'm not successful by 30, what am I doing? Okay. But it's okay to get out of this mindset that I have to do all these things by a certain age. I have to accomplish all these things. Like, are you living? Are you living to accomplish? Are you living to check off the boxes of things that you have come up with in your head that you want to accomplish? Okay, that's all I'm saying. Excuse me. That's all I'm saying. But I think it was a good interview. Very good interview. Half of y'all not gonna go watch it. Y'all just watching me. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think there were a lot of good points. Great interview. I think a lot of people can learn from the things that she's saying. I hope people take in, I don't want to say the advice, but just words of wisdom. And I feel like where we are in the world now, we need more people like Michelle, um, who bring value. We don't have a lot of women bringing value to the next generation. I think we just see so much stuff on social media that's more sexually provocative and negative relationships. So I hope we can have more conversations like this. But like I said earlier, these type of conversations are a dying breed. Okay. I've accepted my life and I'm not 30. Okay. I have a kid and 2 cats. That's my life. If I get a husband, I get one. If I don't, I don't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Your life is not about chasing a husband, trying to get one. It's like live your life. Okay. Live your life. Just live. All right. Now, are there other points that people thought about or want to discuss? But it was a good interview. Good conversation today, y'all. We have to mod too much. Just had to block like one person. Oh yeah. Because I don't need E. Kane and Krishan being the Michelle to the youth. They are though. They are. The Miamis, the Krishans, the E. Kanes. They are the image that a lot of these girls are taking in of how to be a woman. Of how to be a woman, y'all. It's kind of scary. Okay, it's kind of scary. But this was a great chat. I enjoyed, chatting with you guys. If you're not a member, become a member because we're doing a members only live tonight. So come on in, become a member. It's only $1. Our members live chat is this evening. You're not a cat lady, Beth. But yeah, come on in. Thank you guys for a great chat, great conversation. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We're gonna have a members only chat this evening. But yeah, enjoy some of the videos. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. Okay, and some of y'all gonna come back later for the members only chat. Okay, I'm Denise Brady. I enjoyed this chat. I enjoyed the conversation with Michelle Obama. We need more. We need more leaders, positive leaders, and I just think that these type of conversations are a dying breed. I am gonna give some kudos to Alex because the questions were great. Not sure if they came from her or her producers, but she did a great job. She did a great job. I think we need this conversation for where we are today and going into the rest of this year. So appreciate you guys. Have a great afternoon. And I'll see some of y'all tonight. All right. Bye. See y'all.